Great. Good morning, Peekskill. This is Deputy Mayor Vivian McKenzie, and I'm with Andy Stewart. We're here today for our Peekskill agenda with Mayor Rainey. As you can tell, I'm not Mayor Rainey. I'm filling in for him today. So welcome all. Andy, I want to go over some of the COVID updates and get people up to date on where
Sure.
we are.
Thank you so much, Deputy Mayor McKenzie, and it's a pleasure to be here with you this morning. The mayor had a conflict, so thanks for filling in.
You're welcome.
Most people are aware that vaccinations are on the way, and many, I think about a tenth of the population of the city has been vaccinated. But we're also aware that we need to continue practicing COVID-safe habits, masks, hand washing, social distancing. There's currently just under 100 active COVID cases in the city. That's cases that have occurred in the last 2 weeks, and that's as per the county's COVID positive dashboard, which is reachable off of the city's Facebook page. And you can click on that and you can see a map, and it tells you how many active cases there are in each municipality. It also has data on the number of vaccinations that have been provided. So we're getting there, but I think it's a particularly hard time because vaccinations are on the way, but there's some new variants on the virus, and there's all the more reason to be as safe as possible.
Just to add to that, if there's anyone who works in the restaurant industry here in town, if your restaurant owner has signed up with Westchester County, they did open a second round of vaccinations for employees. So check with your bosses. The dates are tomorrow and Thursday. It's done at Westchester County, at Westchester Community College, but you do have to check with your boss to get the link so that you can sign in and set up an appointment. So I encourage you all to do it. It's an opportunity. It's free and no insurance is necessary.
Yep, thank you for mentioning that. I know restaurant workers are right on the front lines. It's very important that they get in there. I wanted to, after talking a little bit about the health stuff, just talk a little bit about some of the matters that came before the city council last night, Deputy Mayor. I don't know if you want to lead off on that.
In terms of the monarch butterflies?
Well, we got the monarch butterflies, and everybody knows that habitat preservation is the secret to success as far as endangered species and so on. Yeah, and the city council heard a proposal last night from the Parks and Rec Department and from Councilwoman Agudelo, and I think others, that the mayor would sign on to this pledge. But there's some very specific activities associated with it, and essentially boils down to planting more milkweed along the riverfront park, because that plant is particularly attractive to monarch butterflies and other kinds of insects. So I know our Parks and Rec staff is meeting with our maintenance folks, Mark Fetzer, who's the foreman of that crew, and Dave Rambo, and they're going to take a look at the waterfront and see what areas are already attractive to butterflies and how we can make sure we preserve and enhance those habitats while mowing the grass and kind of keeping things tidy and attractive for park visitors.
Right. It's really important. You know, the monarch butterfly is really, it's close to being extinct. So it's really important that we do this and help get this taken care of. So it's exciting. And who doesn't love butterflies?
It really is a remarkable species. I mean, it migrates all the way down to Mexico. It's just a kind of an extraordinary story. So there's that. Another thing that came up last night was the police task force report, and the city council voted to accept and certify the plan that was developed over so many meetings with the diverse and large task force with public comment and compliance with the governor's mandate. So I don't know, Deputy Mayor, if you want to say a word or two about that.
I do. Again, we can't say enough thank yous to all of the volunteers who were on that task force and to all of the community input that we got. People took time to come out. Their voices were heard. It's great now that we have the Human Resource Commission that's going to act as a platform for discussion so that we continue. We don't want all this work to be taken and put aside somewhere. We really want to move forward and work this plan. So the Human Resource Commission has graciously accepted to be the platform for discussion. And so as we move forward, you'll hear more about that. And it's just amazing to see when a community comes together, what can be put together and what can be done. So I'm proud of what's been taking place with the task force, and I'm glad that we were able to get this done and on time. So
Yeah, and the chair of the Human Relations Commission, Susie Erdy, was with us last night. The president of the NAACP, Valerie Eaton, joined the meeting. She had played such an important role along with everybody else on that task force. Our next real push on that is more staff driven, where we have to look through all 51 recommendations, the police chief and I and staff, and provide the city council with a sense of what's involved in moving these recommendations forward. Some recommendations require additional city council approval, some require money, and some are quite doable and already underway. So we look forward to providing a report on that at an upcoming HRC meeting and also a city council meeting.
Right. And the council themselves have been looking at this report and studying it to look to see what they think are some of the first things that should be done. And it's also looking at it for things that can be done, without a lot of intervention or easily that can be instituted now. So there's a lot of eyes on this report, and I want people to know that this was not just a task that was done, but that this is a living document, and that the city will be working, the council will be working, the police department will be working, and there will be a lot of opportunity for community to give their input so that we can make the city the best and our police department the best that works for our police department and our citizens. So thanks again for everyone's efforts, and let's keep moving forward with it.
Yeah, thank you. So a couple other items just coming up that might be good to mention, Deputy Mayor. I don't know if you want to lead off with an item of your choice.
Sure. So let's start with recreation. So, the weather's getting warm and people are feeling they want to get out and about. So we're excited to let you know that Bike Sundays is coming back. That will start on April 11th. Our Easter egg hunt will be this Saturday, the 27th, starting at 9 a.m. for our younger kids and 9:45 for our older kids. You can go on to the city Facebook, and there's a link where you can register. You do need to register so that we can make sure there's, social distancing and things of that sort. So please go out and register for that. And we're also excited to let you know that this season, our pool will be open and we will have day camp. It will be, different. We're living in a different world, so there will be some restrictions and so forth and guidelines placed around it, but we will be opening those two activities. So it's really exciting. This time last year, we were in a far different place. So it's good to see that, we're rounding the corner and some things are going to be able to come back. So we're hoping for an exciting summer.
Yeah, that's for sure, Deputy Mayor. I mean, what a difference a year makes. I mean,
absolutely.
This time last year, we had just decided, the St. Patrick's Day Parade Committee had canceled its parade, and we were looking at other major events that couldn't go forward. We had real questions about whether we could have camp and pool, and those ended up being shut down. So, it's really exciting to be on the other side a little bit, and particularly with recreation and Kathy Montaldo and her team. I mean, the music series and the riverfront, the films and all that good stuff is planned and it's coming. So
I didn't mention this, but those are actually planned. We're looking forward to doing those as well. The Parks Advisory Board was talking about those things in their last meeting. So it's exciting. It's exciting to be able to offer some activities for our residents.
I know on Friday night, you and I both were at the Cuenca Peekskill Sister Cities kickoff event. If you want to speak to that for a few minutes, it was really beautiful.
So on the 19th, there was a dual signing from our mayor, Andre Rainey, here in the city of Peekskill, and the mayor of Cuenca to make a sister city agreement. It was a beautiful program that was put together. It was just amazing. And to be able to see Cuenca in Ecuador, there was videos going back and forth. So there were videos that they saw of our city and we saw videos of their city, and just to see the culture and the things that they do there and the spirit of how the two cities want to work together, because we have so many residents from Ecuador that live here, just to see where they came from and what their back home is like was amazing. So I really think that this endeavor will help both countries to be able to learn about each other and support each other. And I think that's really what this is about, is to learn each other and support each other. So it was exciting. I thank everyone on that committee. I'm not going to say names because I will forget someone's name and I don't want to do that. So Andy, if you have a list, that would be great.
Well, I'm just going to say, I think we should mention Luis Coronel, who is the president of the Sister Cities Committee. And
Absolutely.
he and his team worked hard on it along with Councilman Fernandez.
I'm going to say Councilman Fernandez,
Yeah.
he really pushed for this to get done. And we thank him for that.
You have to move it forward. And we had some great performances. The Cuenca folks had a kind of a marching band that showed some traditional music, and they had people on the video weaving hats. Apparently hat weaving is a really big industry in Cuenca, among other things. And on Peekskill's part, we had two just amazing high school students do a performance of a dance and musical piece that was really extraordinary, as well as some presentations by traditional Ecuadorian dancers live in the hall there. So it was really beautiful. It was remarkable.
And don't forget the Ecuadorian folklore band as well. That closed
Folklore
out.
band and some Ecuadorian food. So
Amazing. That was.
Yeah, and it was interesting too, because we were still in the COVID safe mode. So everybody's wearing masks. We're 6 foot distance, but you can grab a little bit of something to nibble on and taste some of the traditional foods. It was really pretty cool. And Wilfredo Morel as MC was just amazing. So
Amazing. Amazing doesn't even describe him.
Yeah.
He made the night. There were some technical difficulties, as can be expected with Zoom and things like that, but he navigated through that and he made it, seem like everything was, going perfectly.
Yep. And they did a nice job on their side too. Their MC was named Sandra, and she was very dynamic. The mayor spoke, so it was pretty cool all around.
Absolutely.
So I don't know if you want to move on from there, Deputy Mayor. I wanted to mention something that I just kind of cooked up recently with the Youth Bureau, and I want to thank the Executive Director Tuesday McDonald and also our building department, because what we decided to do is when we get the notice from civil service that there's a application coming up to take a test for a particular position, we're going to look at our staff, and if we can find someone who it makes sense to have on a public Zoom meeting, just so anybody's interested can find out. So we did it with the police department, and Derek Wright and the NAACP co-sponsored, and we had a conversation about what it's like to be a police officer. We had police officers on that meeting, Chief Halmy and others, and it was to understand what that civil service test looks like. The next one we're doing is for the building inspector position. And coincidentally enough, we actually have, we're going to have a vacancy in the building department for a code enforcement position. But so tonight, and you can link on Facebook, you can see, our Executive Director of the Youth Bureau, Tuesday McDonald, facilitating conversation with our Assistant Building Inspector, Sean Petrozelli. For anybody who's curious about what that job is like and what the civil service test is like and sort of how you get on a list and things like that. We hope that we can help to kind of enable young people in Peekskill to understand better what those career options might look like.
And Andy, I'm glad you brought that up because it is so important. I don't think a lot of people realize that a lot of municipal jobs do require a civil service test, and people don't even think about that. So for the city to offer an opportunity for you to get to know about the position itself, and also how you take the test and those sorts of things are resources that we have not offered here in a long time. And I'm really glad that we're doing it now. It gives our community opportunity to really learn and be aware of what's available to them. So I hope that people will spread this word that this is available and take advantage of it. You don't get that in every city or every municipality. So people take advantage of it and use it to your best interest. A municipal job is a great job to have.
No, they really are wonderful. And we have a great team here, and it's important work. And so, and I think it's important for young people to know that, people who are a little well along on their career, 100% of us are happy to speak with anybody who's curious about what the job is like, kind of what's involved when they're trying to make up their mind. It's really flattering and it's an honor to be able to provide a little insight to someone who's making a plan for their own career journey. So we encourage that, and if there's another kind of job you're interested in, it might be city related. If we can connect you with anybody on our staff who can provide a little guidance, we're more than happy to do that.
Yeah, and for
we have all sorts of interesting people in City Hall. We got people who do housing inspection, people who do legal work, engineering work, a lot of program work, and it's a diverse team, and we're perfectly happy to discuss what it's like for anybody who's interested in those kinds of careers.
Absolutely.
So I want to mention that while we're on the Youth Bureau, actually, I just want to mention again, the Youth Bureau is constantly having really great events. And there's a Women's History Month celebration that's happening this Thursday, the 25th at 7 p.m. Again, this kind of stuff you find on the city's Facebook page. You can link, check it out. They're always doing very community-minded, opportunities to get people together and celebrate and talk with each other about the important things that need to happen in the community.
Yeah, and for this one, for Thursday night, there's honorees. So Maria Oliver Flores, Miss Adrian Harper, Dr. Judith Johnson posthumously, Deborah Malone, who is our chamber president, Aisha Sales, who was one of our math teachers for a long time in our high school, Carmen Vargas, and D'Angela Watt. These are the people who are being honored for this celebration. Valerie Swan, our Youth Leadership Award, and then we have Soraya Sales and Jahira Spites. So please come out and support this event. And again, as Andy said, it's going to be on Thursday, March 25th at 7 o'clock. And you can do it by Zoom as well.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
I also just wanted to mention, as we kind of move through the year, first of all, I want to mention that again, this Saturday in the basement of the library, the Westchester Medical Center is providing COVID testing. It's by appointment. The number's on the Facebook. They usually have, 6 to 12 people sign up for that. So it's happening this Saturday. So please be aware of that. I also wanted to mention that the city is always looking to fill vacancies on boards and commissions. And it's kind of a constant process of, people serve their time and they go on to other things. And so if you look at the city's website, you can see what vacancies currently need to be filled. I think there are a couple actually on the Human Relations Commission, and others as well. So, and we thank the volunteers who do that work. It's so important, whether it's a land use board or Parks Advisory Committee, which I know the deputy mayor serves as a liaison to that, conservation committee, across the board, historic landmarks preservation. There's just a lot of important work that gets done by volunteer committees. And that's how local government works. And we're always recruiting for that. So if you're interested in that, contact the clerk's office, look to see what vacancies exist, and by all means, submit a letter of interest for the council to consider.
Right. It gives you an opportunity to really see how your city is run and how things take place within the city. So if you're ever interested in city government, these are the places that you should come out and be a part of. It's real important to know what happens in your city.
Yep. I just want to say, the important things comes out, the advisory committees, they don't necessarily have decision-making authority, but they generate ideas. And just for example, the Conservation Advisory Committee currently has really initiated a process of looking at trees and tree ordinance and what kinds of permitting or regulation might be advisable. Like many municipalities have rules as to when you can cut down a tree and when you shouldn't, and matters like that. So they've really kind of kickstarted that, and we're in a process of developing ideas around that. So the committees really matter. They do important work, and we encourage people to participate in them. And the meetings are open to the public. You don't have to be a member of the committee to come to a meeting.
Right. So come on out.
Deputy Mayor, I'm seeing a hello to you in our Facebook chat. It says, "Hi, Miss Cindy. It's Zoila." So you got a shout out and a friendly hello.
Hi, Zoila. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for tuning in.
It's very nice. It's sometimes we have very active questions and comments. Today I'm not seeing very much. So we may have covered most of our topics, unless there's something else that you want to put on the table for discussion. We can wrap things up.
I think we have everything. Everything is out there.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Please stay tuned. And just as a reminder, the Facebook page is where you go for the most updated information about meetings. Oh, that actually reminds me, Deputy Mayor, we were going to
Yes.
mention
Next meeting.
meetings. Right. The city council's next meeting is not Monday the 29th. It's Monday, April 5th. So some months, there's a week that gets skipped. And
Right,
so,
the fifth week of them, if there's a fifth week, we don't meet on that fifth week.
right. So April 5th, and it's going to be at 6 p.m. instead of the usual start time of 7 p.m. Because it's a busy agenda and we don't want to keep people up too late. So please be reminded, next council meeting, April 5th, 6 p.m.
Yeah. And just a reminder to folks, although COVID numbers are going down and people are getting vaccinated, it's still really important to wear your mask, social distance, wash your hands. We're rounding the corner, but we want to make sure that we continue to round that corner, and we can only do that if we continue to follow the guidelines. So it's really important. Hang in there. I know everybody's tired of it. I am as well, but you know, we got to hang in there and continue to do what we're doing so that we can recover.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. I'm going to hit close out and,
All right.
and we'll see you later in the day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.